Hello everyone. So today we're going to walk the garden and going to be showing you some surprising things that are happening this spring. Mostly it's because the fact that it has been raining a lot. It rained last night. We got a big storm, and also it's going to be raining again tonight. So anyway, just walking the garden and showing you some of the things that I have noticed, not in any particular order, and the car sound, goodness. Also showing you surprises that are good and bad as well. So the first thing that I actually surprised myself, and that is letting weeds grow. Some of the weeds, that is. So we're over here and I'm going to show you the first one. Not the daylily. It is this plant that is growing with the daylily. This is your plantain plant that some of us consider weeds. Anyway, I have decided to let this one grow, and it produces these bloom spikes, and I have been taking them off because I do not want them or want it to spread seeds. Anyway, this is good if you have, say, like a stung from an insect. It can help with the pain and inflammation. Is that? Oh, and I've been noticing these pests as well. Not sure what that is. And it was a dead one. As mentioned, this spring we've been getting a lot of rain, and with rain you get beautiful, lush looking plants, which means I just showed you the weed that I'm keeping. You also get lots of unwanted weeds that are growing amok. They're just everywhere, and it seems like I cannot get on top of them. So let's show you some of those weeds. This is like crab grass. So that's been growing crazy. I know there are some other weeds as well. Of course, that's spurge. I have been trying my best to take care of the weeds, like this one. This is your typical clover, which I can't remember the botanical name. So this one has a taproot, so you want to be able to, or you want to pull it out and get all of the taproot, otherwise it will come back. And I'm not sure what this is, but anyway, some kind of dandelion-like weed here. So trust me, there are plenty of weeds just around here. What also is happening is you get beautiful plants, and this year, beautiful, lush, and big plants. This is autumn joy sedum. I've already talked in another video. We got big, humongous Gara. Look at this is the biggest that they have gotten this year. I got a big plant right there too. This is Tennessee coneflower. The plant is humongous as well. This is the biggest purple coneflower, the Echinacea purpurea, and it is at least 4 feet now. It is crazy. Never seen it this big before, but I did look it up, and it's not actually surprising that it's this big, but it is surprising in our garden here. This is at the top of its peak height. Anyway, it grows anywhere from 2 feet to 4 feet from what I researched. So at the upper end of its height right now. So this part of the garden is also considered my pollinator garden. And here's the thing that I noticed this spring. There is hardly any pollinators this year. I'm not sure what is going on. I've seen just very few bumblebees. Usually they go for the gaura, they go for the coneflowers, and have not seen really any butterflies this season. Usually that's what they go to with the coneflowers. They love the coneflowers. I have not seen that yet. It could be that maybe they'll be making their way here in the summer. I am not sure, but all I notice is that there are coneflowers here, there are gaura flowers here, but not really any pollinators to make good use of the pollen or the nectar. So let me show you. See right there, I believe that, I'm not even sure if that's a bumblebee or is a carpenter bee or, oh, sorry. Sorry, dude. Anyway, there's a pollinator right there, but there's not very many, surprisingly. Not very many like we used to have in the previous years. So here, look at this. Look at all this beautiful gaura and not even a single pollinator here. Here's the thing that was surprising to me. In mid-May, I was out here walking the garden and noticed that there were flies. I kid you not. They were swarming all around this new sedum that I got, and I was just like, oh my gosh, is this sedum eliciting some scent that is liked by the, by the flies? So I came here, started sniffing sniffing the sedum, the stone crop, to see if it has some kind of like odor, but I could not smell it. It doesn't mean that it didn't smell bad, because I remember last year I was growing this cactus-like or succulent-like plant, and the flies were just swarming to that plant, but I couldn't smell it. I could not smell that it had a bad odor, but the flies sure love it. So I was going to come here and just pull this thing out, but wanted to wait it out for a few days to see if the flies would continue to be there. But thank goodness I didn't, see them around anymore. But I started seeing flies somewhere else on other plants also that I know did not have a bad odor. So that was something that was surprising, that there are more flies this year than I've ever seen. I actually got 2 flies in the house one time, and it took me 30 minutes to an hour just to get rid of them. I do not like flies at all. And I do not care if some plants can be pollinated by flies. I could do without flies, because I have seen so many flies in my lifetime. I do not want to see any more flies. Anyway, please tell me if you have noticed more flies but less of the other pollinators that you are used to seeing, because I don't know, this year, with all the beautiful plants that are here blooming, and the fact that there are not a lot of pollinators, there is something going on. Something, I don't know. I don't want to say good or bad, because I don't know too much about all that stuff. So just wanted to let you know that I've noticed that, and if you notice that in your own garden as well, especially, those of us who grow food, because you do need the pollinators. All right, so another thing that is very annoyingly surprising me this year is the fact that we have a mulch pathway here, and with all the rain, I had to come out here and rake it very so often. And when, like right now, it's sunny, so in between the rain, of course, there will be compaction of the mulch. So it's been a chore trying to get the mulch here to be looking good in the pathway around here. So I'll show you that. So the pathway that I'm referring to is the mulch pathway here, going here, and there. So I recently raked up the mulch here because over time with the rain, the sun, it gets compacted and it shrinks up, for example, and you get this. So if I don't come back and rake it later, there'll be a lot of compaction and you would see bare spots like that and like that and here, and I just don't like the look at all. So I'm seriously thinking of redoing this area and do pavers instead. As we are walking through, want to show you another weed right in front of me here that I have been keeping here. All right, here's the weed. It's called horseweed when I researched it, and I did not know that it keeps growing. So it is over 4 feet, close to 4, actually 4.5 feet right here, the tallest stalk. And it's also edible, but I don't know if I want to eat it. I did try it. It has a spicy flavor to it, and it's something that's familiar to me, something that I do remember eating, but I just can't pinpoint what vegetable it is. Could have been when I was younger, I'm not sure. Anyway, it's just keep getting bigger and bigger, and I think I wanted it to be here because needed something right here, just some vertical structure. There's a clematis in the back, but I think it doesn't look bad. Now, I don't know what the root structure of it looks like, and I don't want to know right now at least, but anyway, it doesn't look bad. I was hoping that it would bloom, but I guess it doesn't bloom. It's just sending out tall stalks like that. So as mentioned, the rain has produced beautiful plants, from foliage to having the plants look bigger to producing beautiful blooms. The one plant that I have not been enjoying seeing the blooms would be the gardenias. Not that I do not like the blooms, it's just that because of the repetitive rain, the blooms have not gone, I feel like they're not going through their normal stages of dieback. So they would start off white, and then it just seems like they go from white to brown, and the brown are just staying put. They're not falling off the plants, and they just don't look that attractive. So I would prefer them to be white and then yellow and then brown and then fall off very quickly, but they're not doing that. So let me show you what is meant. All right, so do you see this? So you see a few white. You can see how many blooms that were here and have now been spent. So here's white, and with the repetitive rain, they just seem to get brown so quickly. Normally you would want it to go through this stage. From this, I believe it's a lighter yellow, and then to this, and then brown, and naturally it would fall off. But because they're not allowed to go through their normal stages of dieback, I just feel like the dieback blooms are just staying longer because they're not supposed to be going through this brown stage so quickly, because this part is at the calyx. It's, it's still looking good. It's not ready to let go of the blooms. Anyway, that's all I wanted to let you know. That I know some of you may have watched the gardenia video that was done a while back, and wanted to let you know that even last year too, I noticed that their normal dieback stages were not were not going through correctly, and you get the brown heads or the brown spent blooms just staying longer than they should on the plant. Anyway, so I don't mind brown at all, but it just seems like they're just staying around too long. I don't see the yellow like I should be seeing. And the whites are not staying there as long as I want them to stay. So the rain definitely has done a bad thing to this gardenia. Other than the gardenia blooms, I don't notice any other blooms looking as bad or are affected the same way the gardenias have been affected. Same thing on that one. Here's one in a pot. It looks like it's doing better. It's going through the stages better. So here's white, pale yellow, darker yellow, and we should see brown soon. That's interesting. Huh. I'll have to keep an eye on this one. Just see this one just fell. So this one is behaving nicely. Yay. So that's what I'm expecting it to look like. And we are going in the front, or to the front, to see a couple other weeds that I decided to keep this season. So let me show you. So here's the weed. I don't know what this is called, but it almost looks like it's the same family as the lamb's ear. It's not fuzzy though. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. So I've been taking the bloom stalks back because I don't want it to bloom. I just like it to cover the ground like that. And it's a clumping weed. So I kind of like it and needed something over here to kind of help with the erosion of water and then drainage as well. Anyway, this is not the weed that I want. This is your nutsedge from what I can tell. So this one will have to come out. All right, so here's the last weed that I've let grow out. Of course, it's getting fried because of the hot weather we've been getting. Anyway, this is something that looked like a juga. You can't tell right now because there are no leaves. They're kind of all shriveled up. I guess these are seed heads. I don't know, I probably should take it out. But anyway, it was filling up this space nicely, and it resembled a juga, so I was thinking it may be some different variety of a juga. Anyway, it produced purplish, pink flowers. All right, so those are some of the surprises, good and bad, that I have noticed in this garden this spring. So hopefully come summer, it might be different, it might change, we might start to see more pollinators. Please tell me if you have noticed some of the same things that I've noticed in my own garden, specifically, you know, whether you've been getting nice rain as well, producing beautiful big plants, beautiful blooms, but also means less pollinators right now. So I would love to hear what your garden looks like this spring. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. And I am getting sweaty because it's very humid right now. And thank you again for watching this one, if I didn't say that already. And until the next video, take care and bye for now.